As we look at the readings for our celebration of Pentecost, there's really too many to get into, from even the possibility of celebrating an extended vigil or the masses for the Pentecost Mass during the day on Sunday. There's too much. So not that you don't need a refresher of the event of Pentecost itself that we will hear about over the weekend, but I just want to pull out two readings just for our reflection. And the first being the second reading from the Vigil Mass, the epistle reading from the Vigil Mass, wherein St. Paul tells us that all of creation is groaning in labor pains as we await our adoption in the Spirit, as we await adoption from God, being fully drawn into His family. He says that, within our own hearts, we groan inwardly, waiting for that. And not only that, the Holy Spirit, he says it's translated a couple of different ways, but the Holy Spirit groans as well, but the Holy Spirit prays for us with sighs too deep for words, right? There's really a depth there in so many ways that all of creation needs to be, redeemed and set free from God. The Spirit is the one to do that, and as we have been united with God through the Spirit moves in us and prays on our behalf. But even in our own longings, there's times for our own selves and our own prayer, probably most of the time in our prayer, where our words just don't get at the heart of that reality, the longing for redemption, and where our prayer, literally expressed or unexpressed, could just be real expressed groanings, unexpressed groanings for the more that is life with God. I'd couple this with the second reading, or at least an option for the second reading on Pentecost Sunday itself, where we're reminded that we're not given a spirit of fear to fall back into slavery, but we received a spirit of adoption, through which we cry out, Abba, Father, and a reminder to us that we do have, a good and loving Father who provides for us our every need, who dotes on us, who is overwhelming in his generosity towards us. That while we may not experience the fullness of that life with God here in this moment and in His family, we can get it enough here and now to know the hope of the promise. We can get it enough in our own prayer, in that same longing, to know that in our longing, deep in our hearts, that there is something, there is a someone, there is a God Himself who will fulfill the deepest desires of our hearts. And so, so much of it is that communion with God, entering into His family, and so much of it is, where the Spirit will lead us and drawing us together as people, drawing us together with God forever in heaven. So, maybe that helps us to see Pentecost in a deeper way, in a different way this year. The foundation's still the same, but God always wants to, by the Spirit, draw us deeper and deeper and deeper into the mystery that is love for us, that is His love for us, poured into our hearts by the Holy Spirit.